Good morning, everyone. We all know what it says in Pirkei Avot, Ethics of Our Fathers. Who is a rich man? One who's happy with his lot. Hasameach b'chelkai. Being content and satisfied with what God has given you is the key to success, to happiness, and to being truly wealthy. Someone said that there's sufficient resources in the world to satisfy every human being's need, but not every human being's greed. There's a big difference between what we need and what we want. Envy and greed is the most destructive force in the world. The opening of this week's parsha is the story of Balak, who hires Bilam, the Gentile prophet, to curse the Jews. And Bilam says, if Balak would give me all the gold and silver in the world, I can't transgress the word of God, but I'll try. And he goes to curse the Jews. Why? Because he's greedy. He wants gold. He wants silver. He knows God doesn't want him to curse the Jews. He admits that, but he still attempts to do it because he's envious of all the gold and the silver that the king of Moab, Balak, has, and he wants some of that gold and silver. And that's why perhaps what impressed him most when he came is when he said the words, Ma tovo alecha Yaakov, how goodly are your tents, your houses, Jacob. We say that every day, quoting the wicked prophet Bilam who attempted to curse the Jews. Why is that the opening statement of our prayers? And why did that impress Bilam so much? Because it went counter to his nature. His nature was looking at what Balak had and said, I want the gold and the wealth of Balak. He was a very successful, wealthy man, but he wanted more. What did he notice? Rashi says, he noticed that the tents of the Jewish people, no two doors faced each other. Why? So no one should look into the other tent of his neighbor and say, look what he has in his tent. Nobody should peer into the windows of his friend. The town planners in the desert made sure that nobody could see what's happening in someone else's tent. One of the biggest problems in our society is that through media, everyone could see what everyone else has. And not only that, we have a saying that says, if you got it, flaunt it, right? So everyone tries to put it in everyone's face. And everyone wants to see what the next guy has. And even if you have so much in life, you're not happy because the guy next to you has more. He's doing better than you. And therefore you become envious, you become greedy, and you become unhappy. And our whole society is built on showing everyone what they don't have, and they shouldn't be happy till you get this car, this house, this vacation, this status, and so on and so forth. And therefore the lesson of this week's parsha is that just like Bilam brought about his own self-destruction by being greedy, and on the contrary, he praised the Jews for being modest and not looking into each other's tents, we have to learn to be content and happy with what we have and never allow someone else's success to undermine our security, our self-confidence, our self-worth, and our happiness. And the problem is, why it doesn't even make sense to be envious of other people, is because they say when you're envious, you're comparing your inside to someone else's outside. We look at someone on the outside, oh, look how happy, successful, he's doing so great. I don't feel so worthy. But the truth is, you don't know what's happening in this person's life. And therefore, it's not even fair. You're comparing your inside to their outside. I'll conclude with this true story. They tell a story, these two couples, they both had terrible marriages. And they're going out for dinner in a restaurant. And on the way to the restaurant, both couples are bickering in the car, fighting the whole way. They get to the restaurant, they get out of the car. How are you? Everyone's sweet and nice and happy. They sit down for a lovely dinner. And both of them are acting very nice to each other throughout the dinner because, they weren't impressed in the couple. So everyone's kind and sweet and gentle. They leave the restaurant, the valet comes, gets the cars. As soon as they pull out, the two cars pull off in two different directions. And each couple says to the other, why can't we be like that other couple? You see how nice they are to each other? Why can't we be like them, right? But that's what happens. We don't know what's doing by the next person. Therefore, don't be looking into someone else's tent. Be content, be happy. And that's why we say, Ma tova alecha Yaakov, a Jewish home is a home where everyone looks what we have, not at what others have.